Ooh, my goodness. What's going on, everybody? If you guys can hear me, let me know. According to YouTube, they're not getting a whole lot of stream data. So trying a couple of different things. One of them is going to be, as you can see, still kind of figuring a few things out, which is par for the course around here. Yeah, so trying out Streamlabs. I've seen some of the other guys I hang out with. They're using Streamlabs. Thought I'd give it a shot. Let's just kind of see how it goes. No promises, because around here we know people are human. So how's everybody doing tonight? Good, I hope. Got some new news, or some new news. So as opposed to old news or even fake news or maybe alternative news or some other kind of news. Yeah. So what's going on, everybody? We're going to be trying to get some other people in by using the what do you call it? Let me turn this fan down. Holy crap. It's frigid. See if we can get some guests on. Typically, I've tried to use some other things like the live call-in through a Google Voice number. I've ended up having to hold the phone up to the microphone. It's not very productive. And you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes the call quality is really bad. See people using StreamYard. Seems to work great. So yeah, we're going to try using that. I'm not sure that I'm doing it the best way, because what I'm actually doing is I'm doing like a screen capture, feeding it through OBS, and then using OBS to stream to YouTube. So I don't know if that's right or not, but it seems to be working. So yeah, I got 2 streams. One of them is bad. That's good to know. So how do I stop one? I don't know. So let me see here. So I got a bunch of comments on something over here. Okay, so I see the one with, all right, so I got a bunch of people in StreamYard. I'm guessing the other one here is probably the bad one. So let me do this, guys. Okay. Hold on. All right, so one of the streams here, I'm going to drop that stream, jump over in the other one. That way I'm not running 2. I'm going to try and jump over to the StreamYard one and see what happens, and we'll go from there. Hopefully it works out fine. If not, sorry about your luck. Come right back. All right, so I'm going to stopping OBS. If your stream cuts out, go find the other stream. That's the one that's running right now. So here we go. I'm going to close that out. Yes. Okay. So hopefully I didn't shut everybody off. I don't know what happened. See if that works. What's that Lou and BVD say? Hashtag professional and all that good stuff. Yeah. So doing that. So I assume since you guys are still here, I didn't lose everybody. So, which if you're on this stream, you have nothing better to do. You can download plenty of games. I stopped the good one, he says. Well, this is the one we're going to use. This one will probably get better since I stopped the other one. So yeah. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody see me? I don't know. Hopefully so. All right. So ton of stuff going on. UGA just got to flip back on another commit. What's up, Glenn? What's up, Jason? Let me do my normal shout outs. I think Keith Carr was pretty much one of the very first ones. The bed is here. Jeremiah YT, what's going on, my buddy? Michael Porter, how's it going? Does it say I have to click on these to show them? Oh, it shows it in stream. That's pretty cool. Didn't know you could do that. Hayden Stone, what's up, Keith? Dwayne RTR, Glenn Hartley, Justin Knox, the best rapper alive. That's a terrible name to have because once you die, that won't work well. But good for you for right now. So yeah, Husker Gray, what's going on, buddy? Seems like your camera looks like a 1950s football game. Bear with me on all of that stuff. How do I get rid of this? I wanted to show up momentarily, not permanently. Good grief. Okay. So I found out that if you want to join the show, I can do this. Copy here. Boom. If you have a computer or if you have a phone and you want to join, you can click on this link. It'll feed you in. You don't have to use your camera. You do have to use your microphone, but you don't have to use your camera. I can bring you into the studio and you guys can join the show. We can have a normal conversation. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, preferably college football, no politics, because that gets weird. Hey, what's going on, Ballard Sports Media? How you guys doing? The nice thing about StreamYard is that it tells you your live time, you know, how long you've been up here. It also tells you how many people are currently watching. So a lot of stuff. So yeah. Hey, Ballard wants to jump in the stream, so we're going to go ahead and add him. So I'm going to take that down. I'm going to do this.
What's up, big dog Brett?
Hey, how's it going, man?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Hey, living the dream, man. Above ground and breathing. That's all I can ask for some days.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. When they announced a couple weeks ago conference only schedules, on one hand, I was kind of upset because I'm trying to be a sportscaster and everything, but I also
Right.
have my teams. I'm an Alabama fan. I was kind of bummed out. I'm like, man, I was looking forward to seeing Bryce Young, who should have gone to USC, probably would have, beat up on USC. But, hey, I'm happy that at least we're playing Georgia and everything. And you being a Georgia fan, and I've said this quite a few times, I know it's in Tuscaloosa. I know the history and how it's been a while since the Dogs have lost in Tuscaloosa. And, I give you guys every fair chance of the world. Now, you and every other Georgia fan, not so high on Jake Fromm the past couple years and everything. He's now gone. But I think you guys got something in Jamie Newman. I really do.
So you kind of threw a lot at me to unpack, so I'll try to unpack it as quick as I can.
Yeah.
The first thing I want to kind of cover is the all SEC schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Just the SEC just playing against the SEC is not really the big problem because typically we'll kind of weed ourselves out.
Right.
But once we get into the stage of I got a schedule, Lou. I got one. I'll share it with you here in just a minute. To me, the real problem is that this creates a dynamic where it's very difficult to say one team is better than the other because we're not having the cross division games. So like when Oklahoma would play Clemson or whatever, in a playoff game, you can say, okay, well that division, had a little more power than this division. But whenever you look at when you play all SEC, everything is housed inside of your division. There's no cross play that says, okay, every time that Oklahoma makes the playoffs, they get the crap beat out of them. So the Big Ten must not be very good, or the Big 12. And people from that division, I love to pick on them by mixing those up. He said, if this is clickbait, I'm going to be big mad. All right, so I'll do this for you, Lou. So when I Googled the SEC schedule, this is what it came up with. Alabama playing Georgia on the 19th.
Right.
Playing Vanderbilt on the 3rd, Auburn on the 10th, Missouri on the 17th. Right. Then we get a bye week and we play Florida on the 31st, which is traditional. We typically always play them around Halloween. Then we play we get like a 3-week bye week because we get a bye week there. We play South Carolina on the 7th, Tennessee on the 14th, and then Kentucky. So we get the one bye week. Of course, we don't get to play Georgia Tech on a normal schedule. Now, if something magically happens, that's the old schedule, man. Sorry, man. That's the information I have available. So that's what I went with. Yeah, I saw that the games don't come to the 26th, but I got so excited when I saw the schedule, I completely lost track of that. So
and that's another thing too, was not only did they announce conference only and not only the rest of the SEC teams, like I thought I saw where maybe like Bama might play like Florida or whoever this year, even though they get them in the swamp next year too in 2021. But at the same time, like not only did they mention SEC only, they also pushed it back to the late September too, which kind of pushes the SEC championship a bit, and it's now 10 games instead of 12 games as well.
I agree. I do think that this can go one or two ways really, really well and really bad. It can say, it could be that the SEC absolutely cannibalizes itself. It's a possibility. It could also be that two teams just come out and dominate everybody, which is more likely going to be the case because that always seems to be the case. Now, there's a case to be made for LSU being second in the West behind Alabama and Florida being second in the East behind Georgia, and those will kind of figure themselves out. But because we're playing this whole schedule, there's a possibility that there could be some conflict between the East and the West now as to who's the better team. Now, you could say based off of win percentage, this, that, and the other, there is a potential for there to be a conflict as to which team is the better team. So we'll see what happens. You got to listen to Ballard.
Everyone has to now.
Everybody has to now, right? So the biggest part that I'm missing is I like seeing the cross division games. I love seing games where Uncle Lou. See, I try to do my show ahead of time, so I don't like interfere with Uncle Lou's show. And now he's gonna throw me under the bus on his show, which is fair because I did screw up, but it is what it is. I got so excited about seeing the schedule that when I looked at the schedule, I completely spaced it. It's moved to the 26th. But I would imagine that they're simply going to take this schedule and rotate it deeper. So
right. And another thing is this whole conference only thing is really going to mess with rivalry weekend, because now I can't think of all of them off the top of my head, but the one game that sticks out to me, if it's conference only, one of the big rivalries is there's also, so Florida State, and then Clemson, South Carolina. That is where those are two really big rivalries right there. Mm-hmm. Even though I know South Carolina's not quite – I mean, they're not going to beat Clemson. We know Clemson's going to be really, really great. We know Florida State's down right now, and look at where Florida is. But at the same time, it's just one of the traditional rivalries, you know? Yeah, and not seeing it this year because of conference-only schedules is kind of going to suck, you know?
So I've been thinking about that, and I guess that if you're a Georgia fan, you could kind of wish that –
oh, yeah, Georgia
Tech. Yeah, you could kind of wish that Georgia Tech makes its way through the ACC. Mm-hmm. What I would actually love to see, what I would love to see is I would love to see a game between Georgia Tech and Notre Dame where Georgia Tech beats Notre Dame.
That would be interesting to see.
That would be really hilarious. Because the whole talk of you guys can't beat any Georgia team regardless of conference. That would be there, especially with Georgia Tech being on the rebuild as much as they are. So if Georgia Tech miraculously pulls off some kind of miracle and ends up winning the ACC and Georgia wins the SEC, it is technically possible Georgia could still play Georgia Tech. It's possible. Not likely.
If by some miracle Georgia Tech wins the ACC, runs the table, makes the playoffs somehow, I mean, that would be crazy.
Well, I mean, crazier things have happened, like, South Carolina beating Georgia last year.
Yep.
Things happen every year that shouldn't happen. If somebody would have told you at the beginning of last year that LSU was going to ride roughshod over the entire SEC and just blast everybody out of the water and be a 15-0 generational memorable team, you would stare at them and go, "You're off your meds, aren't you? You're off your meds."
Right. I would have said something like, "I think they'll be great, but if you think they're going to have all the accolades in the world, you're crazy." You know?
Yeah. So for me,
I mean, they had it all.
Yeah. I mean, for me, once you get past the fact that they absolutely destroyed you, if you played them, if you get past that, and you look at that team and you go, I would love to have had that team.
Right.
Because that was an absolutely incredible team. And they did what a lot of championship caliber teams do, which is get better over the course of a season. Like they were still, in my opinion, ramping up when they got to the end of the season, unlike where some programs, they start out, they got this high, expectation at the beginning of the season, and then it just kind of drops off. And then at the end of the season, they're not doing what crap. Yeah. Which seems to be the case with like there's been years I've been high on Oregon, especially Oregon.
Right.
I watched Oregon, and me and my wife used to pay attention to Oregon because she's got family, out there. And out in Oregon, the Ducks are huge out there. And so we would watch the team just because we would have a conversation piece with her family out there. And back when Marcus Mariota was playing, I mean, it was like, the first time I watched that guy play, I was like, holy crap. This guy's really got some talent. And they had some really good receivers. And watching the way those guys play when they won their national title, I was absolutely dumbfounded. I was like, wow, that's an incredible team. Even though there's no chance of Georgia playing them, we weren't good enough to play against them at that time. But when we get to the end of the season and you have played a team that has just destroyed you, and you felt like your team was really good, there's some animosity sitting in there. Right? Right. And so you're like, these sons of, And then they like win, and after you've had time to cool off and they kind of accept your defeat, you're like, wow, that was a.
It's like they were just that great. They were just that great. That's how it was, I think, last year for me being an Alabama fan when I saw LSU, because I knew both teams were undefeated at this game. Both were like, what was it, 7-0, 8-0 by the time that game came around, and it was just like I know they're great, but they just, I mean, did we really just lose in Tuscaloosa? Not Death Valley, in Tuscaloosa to LSU. And then when I see them go on and win the SEC, beat Georgia, beat Oklahoma so badly in the playoffs, like what was it, 64-28 or something?
Oh
The
yeah,
final score? It was bad. And I'm like, I feel a little bit better about that loss, you know? And they won it all. And you can't get mad when you lose to the eventual national champs, can you?
No. Hold on one second here. I'm going to run through the comment section, just kind of catch up on who's jumped in. RB, what's going on, buddy? Gary McDougal and hello. I'm not sure if that is an Adele impression, but it could be. Timbo Slice, of course, I saw you in here earlier, sir. Sean Stapleton, RB, of course, Uncle Lou and Uncle Lou on LouTube. Uncle Lou is doing his live show at 10 o'clock tonight. If you guys are in my channel, you're probably in his. He's been doing more and more work with BVD. I've started to kind of talk to BVD offline, and it's really good guy. So if you guys get an opportunity, go watch him. His live streams, you never know what you're going to get, man. Sometimes he's talking about scorpions he's found. Yeah, BVD, man. He's great.
That was funny. Yeah, he is. Well, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get off here and see if anyone else wants to get on. And
okay,
have a good one. Thanks.
You too, sir. Thanks for joining.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Bamley, extremely young on offense. Sean, I would normally agree with you any other team, but they seem to be doing just fine. Appreciate that, Jeremiah. You like me better than Uncle Lou. That's okay. There's going to be people that like Uncle Lou better than me, so it works out. The schedule was released, Justin, but the schedule that was released, you're very welcome, and thank you for joining the show, Ballard. The schedule that was released, when I saw the schedule was released, I was so excited. I didn't realize that it was the old schedule. So it is a bit of a clickbait, but not on purpose. Dennis Wilson said, "Big Dog Brett, who's your daddy? The Alabama football program." Just answer me this one question, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Anderson, answer me this question. When Georgia came to Tuscaloosa last time, what happened? What's my prediction for the Alabama? I like turkey better than ham. I like bologna. My prediction for the Alabama-Georgia game, man, that is such a tough question to answer. There's so many variables to it. You could talk about Jamie Newman being a potential first-round pick. You don't know until he plays. He's so different. We've got a brand-new offensive coordinator. Alabama's kind of got a tried-and-true method that seems to work very well for them. Bryce Young's going to be there or whatever. So there's both of the teams are highly talented. This is probably the most talented Georgia team we have ever had that I can remember. They're deep at a lot of positions, talent at every position. Talent at every position. But what you can't deny is that in the recent years, it has been an absolutely fist fight at the end of those games. So for anybody to just come up and say, oh, Georgia's going to beat the crap out of Alabama, it's ridiculous to even make that comment, and it's ridiculous for an Alabama fan to say Alabama's going to beat the crap out of Georgia. These teams are so evenly matched, it's difficult to believe that either team is going to have a tremendous advantage. Now, when you're talking about Georgia's going to be playing in Tuscaloosa, that's great if you're an Alabama fan. What's great that if you're a Georgia fan is that it's not going to be at capacity. So the home field advantage aspect is going to be drastically weakened. It's highly unlikely that you're going to see these players. You're highly unlikely you're going to see these stands filled. They might be at a third capacity, maybe. If they're at half capacity, I'll be stunned. But more likely than not, out of an abundance of caution, they're going to have these very limited games. I hope we don't do the cardboard cutouts, and I hope that by some miracle that we found a way to absolutely negate everything that's going on with this, that we can just get back to life as usual. But I don't feel like the window that we have is enough time for that to happen. So, to me, if Georgia plays in Tuscaloosa, the likelihood of not having a home field advantage might be helpful. You ever? Now I know what it's like for a girl whenever two guys are fighting over him. It's nice. Thanks, Jeremiah. Although I don't think Lou really cares. I think he's just trolling you on. What's going on, Not Just Rice? Yeah. I am not, and unfortunately not, coordinated enough to set aside a schedule every week where I stream at the same time. I just try not to stream on top of somebody else's stream. Lou, guys like Bill Murray for me, man. He just gets my funny bone, man. Dwayne says, I think Alabama's offense is much more proven than UGA's offense. I would concur with that. I absolutely would concur with that. But I could also say that I feel like Georgia's new offensive coordinator is much more proven to be able to produce points than your offensive coordinator. Just saying. So the fact that it's the first season in a game, both teams are going to be incredibly rusty. I don't believe that these teams are going to be as fluid as every other team we see roll out first week of the season. There's been no spring practices, no spring games. The season's going to be moved a couple of weeks back. Teams haven't been working together. There's so many factors that go into that first week. It's such a coin toss. There is no way to pick that game. No way to pick that game. Who do I think is going to start at QB for Georgia? Oh, Jamie Newman. Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. You never know. It might not be the first game. I don't see how it could be. I think that there's so many things already in place. Oh, Lou, you're killing me, man. I'm not the professional that Lou and BVD is. I get it. Georgia-Florida game going to be interesting. Yes. There's a lot of talk of whether that may stay in Jacksonville or it may go to Georgia, it may go to Gainesville. I really hope it stays in Jacksonville. I don't see why it matters. If you can empty a stadium in Georgia, you can empty a stadium in Gainesville, you can empty a stadium in the swamp. It shouldn't, or in Jacksonville, it shouldn't matter. I would like for the tradition to remain, but whatever works best is best. I haven't seen Chess Hall on my streams. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like me. Maybe you should hang out with Dennis. I don't know. Man, if JT Daniels starts, I'm going to lose my mind, dude. From what I've seen from Jamie Newman is most recently played. The guy's like 8'10". He's just a big guy. I want to see a quarterback with some freaking arm strength. I want to see a quarterback that doesn't have concrete for feet. I don't want to see a guy who's kind of mobile. I want to see a guy who can just take off and be gone. I really believe UGA will get over that hill with a win in Alabama in Game 3, and they will walk away with a natty. Not really worried about any other team. Go Dogs. We're not playing them in Game 3. What's up, Pete Scan Pete? I think you're also right there, Mr. Pete. I do think Georgia will. I do think Newman will be the best QB in the East, maybe in all of the SEC. So we'll see what happens with that. Murray or Fromm? Murray in a heartbeat. I would take Murray's mom before I take Jake Fromm. To be honest with you, she'd probably do a better job. Probably more mobile than he is. Jake Fromm, as he snapped the ball, I mean, it's like he grew roots. He just stuck to the ground. He didn't go anywhere. It's terrible. Oh, you know what? I didn't think about this, but this might be the reason why. So of course not. If you would like to join the show, feel free to hit the link here. That'll get you into the backstage pass. There's nobody back there, but feel free to join. Where the OU Texas game is played. What the OU? It has 0 to do with UGA Florida. That is also true. Shea Patterson or Jake Fromm? Oh, God. Now, there's a question. Lambert or Fromm? Oh, first year Fromm. After that, I'm going to back out of the equation. it seems like Fromm should be the biggest learning lesson in the world to Kirby Smart. It was a mistake from the day that they tried to put Justin Fields in at the quarterback position and have him run the same game plan that Fromm was running. It seems like it would have been clear to let everybody in the country know that you should have developed specific plays just for Justin Fields. Why would the Jacksonville Jags allow 300 out-of-town strangers in their locker room during this COVID? That would be stupid. I mean, no matter where you go, you're going to let a bunch of strangers in there, so who knows? I don't know what they're thinking. My man said one word, Clorox. Oh, man. Hudson Mason. I'll take Hudson Mason. I like Hudson Mason. Not the greatest quarterback on the planet, but I liked him. He spent time on the field trying to get better instead of going hunting and fishing. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind that a guy goes hunting and fishing. From or a high school quarterback. If it can be Brock Vandergrift, then I'll take that high school quarterback. And I still want to go watch that guy play this year. He plays in, I think, for Bartow High. Would you want UGA to let 300 out-of-towners enter the locker room the week before we play Bama? No. SEC needs to add LSU versus Georgia for this season. That's one of those games that's really – it's one of those games that it's kind of like, why would we add that game? Because the LSU-Bama thing is going to sort itself out. So let's say LSU beats Bama. Georgia beats Bama. LSU loses to Florida. Georgia beats LSU. And then LSU beats Florida. You'd end up at the end of the day with, okay, which team is better? Which team do we put in the SEC championship? Because technically, these can come out to the same win-loss ratios with a crisscross of it's like a triangle where win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, where it's just it's a round robin. So you wouldn't be able to tell which team was actually better. It would be a guessing game, which takes us back to the BCS bowl games system. It's just crazy. Yeah, Marlins kind of screwed that up. They went out partying, and ended up sick. It's just crazy. So, if you guys want to join the show, feel free to click on the link. You don't have to show your picture. You can just state your opinion. Georgia wants revenge. Georgia wants revenge against just about every team in the West at this point that you would consider a team. I'm running out of coffee. I tried this coffee with, I think it's called chicory. I'm not sure what that is, but apparently it's something I don't know. We need our WRs to step up this year. We got George Pickens, man. It was not the receivers. Please understand, and I've tried to make, and I was making this argument halfway through the season. When you've got 4- and 5-star receivers that were putting up ridiculous numbers in high school, catching passes from high school quarterbacks that weren't even ranked, like they didn't have a star rating. They were setting records with those guys, and Jake Fromm, which is supposed to be a 4-star quarterback, he can't get a pass within catching distance of these guys? That's something ain't stirring the Kool-Aid, man. Something ain't stirring the Kool-Aid. Georgia is 1-5 against Bama and LSU in SEC title games. That's an odd stat. What's Bama versus LSU's record over the past, let's just say, since you said 1-5, over the past 6 years? 1-5 against Bama? So you could argue that just Bama's a better team at that time, or LSU's a better team at that time. I mean, there's nobody that you can find that will say Georgia has not improved over time and that they're not getting closer to where they need to be. So, yeah. So I don't know how this happened, but it happened, so I'm going to tell you guys about it. Recently, my channel was approved, which I didn't even know there was a submittal process, but my channel was approved for memberships. So I have 3 different levels. If you guys want to sign up to be a member, great. Support the channel. That's great. I don't have a PayPal. I do have Super Chat, but I don't have the merchandising shelf, which is where you can see all of the like coffee cups and shirts and hoodies and stuff. I have one of those at Teespring. If you guys want to check that out, it'd be in the description of the video at the end. You guys can check out that. It's just the saying I have at the end of the show. Have a great day. God bless. Go Dogs. Multiple different colors. Pick out whatever you like. I don't know. Maybe you want something to wrap your cat up in so he stays warm. But there's plenty of stuff there for that. If you guys want to join the channel and support it, there's three different levels. There is what I call the tailgater. There is the sideline viewer, and then there is the Skybox VIP. Hey, Dennis Wilson, thanks for the super chat, man. Just face it. He says, Big Dog Brett, just face it. And 2020 will end like 18 seasons for Georgia. It is a possibility, sir, but I will tell you, I will weather the storm if that's the case. Not jumping ship anytime soon. Let's see here. Maryland barely has an all-time winning record, and they've won the ACC 6 times. Another weird stat. Rutgers has a conference championship. What? Husker Gray says Georgia will never win anatomy if Kirby keeps messing up the offense. I think he learned his lesson, man. I think after this last go-around, the fans absolutely lambasted him about losing Justin Fields, watching what Justin Fields was doing at the just for Ohio State. I mean, absolutely incredible talent. Yeah, and then our offensive coordinator, which was basically a water boy, they put him in place, and he was not up for the challenge. He needed to go be an offensive coordinator somewhere at like SMU or North Dakota State or something, and develop himself there as an offensive coordinator, and then come back to an SEC team and start out with something like Arkansas. Go work for Sam Pittman for a little while. You've got a relationship with him. Work your way up in the system there. Develop that team into a better team, and then come work for a Tier 1 elite team. I blame our pitiful offensive coaching staff, not scheming nothing up for our receivers last year. Pathetic offensive coaching. Yes, I agree. And it was very bad. I mean, it wasn't just bad. It was very bad. We were basically just counting on the defense to do all of the heavy lifting and hope we could score some points. Doesn't work anymore. Can't do that in college football. You have to have a modern day offense, or you're going to lose. Oh, Tyler P says, being completely honest, I think Dan Mullen would be a solid NFL coach. I don't see him doing anything at Florida. He isn't an elite recruiter. Their recruiting has been improving. They're not terrible, but they've still got a ways to go. Dan Mullen reminds me of Kirby Smart as far as he's able to get some pretty good talent. He's able to win most of the games he should, but he can't win the games he needs to. And because of that, he's always going to be a good coach and never a great coach. Dwayne says, hey, Brett, I'm not trolling, but the UGA versus Bama game has the same feel. Hey, thanks for that, for being a member, Michael. Just so you guys know, that is the very first member for our channel. That is an absolute honor, sir. I appreciate it very much. Now, Michael, once you become a member, you will have access to, if you guys look right here on the screen, you will see that he's got a little S symbol next to it. This is the new member badge. Once the badging becomes, once I get a little further along, I'm actually having some designed. Once that gets further along, new members will have their own badges. As far as how long they've been here, 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, and then so forth and so on. But your badge will get increasingly more complex and more elaborate as you move forward up into tiers. So thanks for the membership, sir. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. So you got me all off track. I'm all choked up. Oh, Dan Mullen. But Dan Mullen is a good coach. He's going to be a guy who's going to do well, but he's never quite going to get to that next tier. Dennis Wilson says, SC Dogs, excuse me. Let's see. SEC loss was a wake-up call. Sometimes that's a good thing. I agree, but we're kind of past the it's okay to make some mental mistakes here. Kirby Smart has been around long enough now that He should be able to really develop a team without having these head-scratching losses to teams that we should destroy. There's absolutely no reason UGA should have lost that game. Jake Fromm lost us that game. He certainly did not win it. The offense had no answers. Their defense played better than they should have. Our offense played terrible, and the outcome rang on the scoreboard. So all of last year, Georgia's defense only allowed one rushing touchdown, and that was by a quarterback. Allowed no rushing touchdowns by any running backs. Most of that defense is coming back, so the defense is going to be fine. We need to have a big push on offense, and then the offense should pop through. So, yeah. Lawrence Cager only has like 400 yards receiving. That is also true. Lawrence Cager was a grad transfer, I believe, from Miami, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if he's going to be around this year. I haven't looked into that. I have been spending a lot of time kind of looking at Kirby Smart as Georgia's Achilles heel. That is not true, sir. Looking at the different players that are coming back. I just did a video about Alabama's returning players. A ton of their fans jumped in there. It's like, oh, you forgot about Trey Sanders. Please understand the reason I didn't talk about Trey Sanders is because Trey Sanders was injured. I don't know if he's going to be back. They say he's going to be back. It's hard to say. He isn't recovered fully, so I don't know. That having been said, I can tell you from experience, when Georgia seems to have a ton of injured players every year. It's part of football. When those players come back from an injury, that first year back, they really don't look like themselves. Nick Chubb was a prime example. Jordan Bowman, that 400 was big in Athens, sir. It was. I know you guys like hearing me talk, and that's wonderful. But my question is that do you guys have anything to say? So here is the StreamYard link again. If you guys would like to join the show, you guys can hit that. It'll bring you right in. Jesse Gore. What's going on, Jesse? That's not what she said. I don't see Melissa May. I don't see Christy. I haven't seen Killer Mom in a while. I don't know where some of my people are at. That's kind of bothering me. I got to get used to this. This whole thing right here is just new. Going to be more injuries this year with all the SEC schedules. I don't know. We might see less injuries because we're playing less games. But it's certainly going to be. Hey, what's up, James? How's it going, buddy? Saw you in here. You're one of my resident normals. We appreciate that. Where? Yeah, Brett. Where the homies at? I don't know, man. They're normally here. I have no idea. I can tell you though that I think my wife has turned the AC up because I got a fan in my lap, man. I hate getting hot. I hate it. Rona injuries, wild card. It's so hard to say what's going to happen with that, man. It's so hard to say. Cager was smart enough to get away from that circus show in Miami. Ain't that a fact? Oh man, I don't even know what's going on down there. I'm scared to see. I'm scared to see what's going on with the Miami Hurricanes. Seems like everywhere that Margaret goes seems to be a problem. Just bad stuff happens. Seen Christy yesterday on Dog Nation. Oh wow, she was on Dog Nation. That's pretty cool. They got a pretty good following. What part of Georgia do I live in? I live in North Georgia. I'm originally from South Georgia. I'm north of Atlanta. So can't give out too much information because there's weird people out there. And if you guys have kept up kind of with the whole camel 8 toes or whatever it is, there's been some wild stuff that's happened over there, man. That I think at some point somebody sent a pizza to Uncle Lou's house. I'm not worried about it, Jeremiah. I'm just giving some information. Somebody sent a pizza to BBD, which is a pretty scary thought. If you've got a complete stranger that knows your address and they're willing to spend money to send pizza to your door to send you a message that they know where you live, that's a dangerous individual. Just for somebody thinking that's funny, that's dangerous. How far is Athens from me? Depending on which way I drive it in traffic, it can be anywhere from about an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. Just depends. But the farthest I have ever driven for a Georgia game was, I want to say 9 hours. I drove 9 hours for a game one time. That game was in Columbia, Missouri, at Faux Rot Stadium, Missouri. Columbus, Georgia. Yeah, Columbus is not too far from Albany, Georgia, and that's probably the biggest town anybody will know near where I grew up. Yeah. I really enjoy you guys being on here. Old man football. Absolutely right, sir. Old man football. I was in the stands for that whenever Georgia won that game. Yeah, we were sitting on the visitor side because it was the cheapest seats we could get. And Jason S. is born in Albany. What's your last name, Jason S.? Do you have a fast last name, sir? Used to work in Albany. I don't know if it's just the Jason S. I'm thinking of. Lived in Americus for a little while. Man, that's a small place, dude. They roll up the sidewalks after dark out there. I remember the first time I went to Americus. I had met a girl at a football game, and she said she lived in Americus. She did not live in Americus. She lived about 8 or 9, really in the middle of nowhere. Tyler P says I should come on to your StreamYard. Never used it though. Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying it. It seems to be pretty straightforward. He says I'm older than y'all. Rome, Georgia. What's up, Darius Jones? Rome, Georgia. I've been there a few times, man. Live in Augusta. That's where they have the Masters at, man. I think they got a nice Bass Pro Shop there too. Going to ABAC. ABAC is, for those of you who don't know, is the Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College. If you didn't know that there's agricultural colleges, there are. And it's in Tipton, Georgia. Been to Savannah, Georgia for vacation 3 times. I like Savannah, but it's getting a bit out of hand. Oh, there we go. Tifton, yep. Russell Harrison says, I'm a Miami fan who lives in Knoxville. His wife is a Florida State fan, and her parents live in Noonan, Georgia. Are her parents Georgia fans, though? Because that'll tell me if they're from here. Are you talking about Albany, Georgia? From the Benny, also known as the Detroit of the South. If you guys want to know how bad Albany, Georgia is, there is an actual Facebook group you can join. And it's called Dougherty and Lee County, like shot, stabbed, murdered, and missing. It's a group webpage that is put together for that's happened to those people. There's a group for that. It's crazy. You just got a Top Golf. Top Golf is awesome. If you get a chance to go visit a Top Golf and hang out with your friends, go do that. Those places are killer, man. Yeah, I kind of goofed already. I made a mistake. I got so excited when I saw a schedule released, and I forgot that it was they had moved the date back. But I would imagine that this schedule is just going to shift. How do I think the Gators are going to do this year? I think the Gators are going to be 9-1. I think that the only loss that they're really going to have on their schedule is going to be against Georgia, unless there's a cross division that they pick up that's either LSU or Alabama. If it's Alabama, they might be 8-2. If it's LSU, they may still be 9-1. They may have enough to beat LSU. What do you think about the SEC and ACC dropping the rivalry game? I think that the dropping the SEC and the ACC rivalry games is going to make them much more appreciated next year. But for right now, I mean, what can you do, man? I mean, I'd love to see the game play. I mean, it's theoretically possible that they could still happen, but whoever your cross-division rivalry is in the ACC would need to win the ACC to play. You would have to win the SEC, and then y'all would have to meet up in the playoffs, provided however they do that. So, yeah, Florida plays LSU already. That is correct. So I still think they could beat them. So what happens this year? Because it's not – I don't know how they're going to do bowl games because you've got some teams apparently that aren't even playing. So you're going to end up with bowl games. But teams that have a 5-5 record are going to go to bowl games. It's going to be the craziest thing ever, man. A team with 5 wins going to a bowl, going to a Sugar Bowl. No, it's not happening that way. I just realized that, man. Big Dog, the Gators are tired of Georgia beating them like a stepchild. I would imagine anybody would be tired of losing. I mean, I feel like Georgia loses to Alabama as much as Florida loses to Georgia. No. See, my theory behind bowl games is exactly the same theory that I have about playing college football. There's too much money involved for these teams to not play. And then what you're going to run into now is that the fans are basically clamoring for college football to return. I normally don't watch much baseball, but now that baseball is back on, I've been watching more baseball. And I enjoyed it. But I think one of the reasons that I'm enjoying baseball more is because these games mean more now than they've ever meant. And that is certainly going to be the case this year with college football. These games are going to mean a tremendous amount. There is going to be an even more so incredible amount of effort put into winning each one of these games. It's going to be insane. The playoffs should be in a bubble. Arkansas may go 1-9. I don't know. I think Arkansas might be able to beat Vanderbilt if y'all play them. I think so. We'll see. Too much money for the football. They were still Georgia up until the last minute was still trying to figure out how to play Virginia in the Chick-fil-A opener because it was like I don't know some ridiculous amount of money they were supposed to get if they could pull that off. There's just so much money involved in it. I mean it and it's not like money that just goes to somebody's pockets. These programs are counting on this money as part of their budget. I just read an article today about how the Clemson is worried that they're going to end up having to pay back some of their booster money donations, which could end up being millions of dollars. So, and maybe I didn't frame that perfectly right, but the way I read the article is due to the way the season is laid out, it may be difficult to get all that money and then pay it back. I don't know, it's weird, but basically what it boiled down to is due to the virus, they're not guaranteeing that people are going to get their money or things that they paid for, and it's not good. It's not good. So the best and easiest solution, monetarily, financially speaking, is for the teams to play. And I mean, there's a lot of talk right now of players already that's kind of questioning whether or not they want to play. But who knows how that's going to go? But we'll see. Alabama was trying to replace USC with Notre Dame in the opener. I guarantee you Notre Dame doesn't play. We got somebody who wants to add to the stream that says, sorry, what does it say? Sorry, my mic doesn't work. Well, if your mic doesn't work, why would I add you to the stream? Do you have a camera? Can you turn your... camera on? Apparently, the reason I'm not just throwing you into the stream here, my man, is because apparently there has been some people here recently that have been showing vulgar body parts the moment you let them into the show. So if your mic doesn't work, I'm not sure what I can do for you. I don't need no tanning Tatum on here. So, yeah. The Notre Dame is a Big Ten East team. They're letting him in. They say they're letting him into the ACC for this year, so I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that. NBA should move to China. Here we go with the politics. Leave that alone. So I'm gonna do something for you guys. I've been drinking my coffee. I'm gonna take one of my Altoids. So I have a minty fresh breath. Yeah, he'll be back next year because he ain't gonna play this year. When I saw what happened to his leg, a calf muscle is not supposed to do that, or whatever happened. It looked like when he stepped on his foot, it looked like that whole muscle went boom, went down. It didn't look good. It did not look good. Yeah. Brett, what if Georgia moved to the ACC? It would make an easier path for Georgia to get to the playoffs, but it would absolutely destroy Georgia's recruiting, in my opinion. Being part of the SEC, in my opinion, is a badge of honor to be worn proudly. Even though you have teams like Arkansas and Ole Miss and Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, which I don't know how in the world they're still here. Clemson's not going to join the SEC. There's no reason for them to. They already have run of the mill. And Georgia's not going to. Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Florida, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Kentucky, and South Carolina will never leave the SEC. ACC is on life support. Yeah, North Carolina is starting to gain some ground. They're actually kind of helping that program come back. They're coming around. Mac Brown's doing a good job up there. He's getting some recruiting in. He's really starting to improve that program. So I think you really need at least 2 or 3. Hold on, I gotta post that one. Coach Brown is a great guy. I like Coach Brown. He did a good job at Texas. Once he left Texas, they obviously felt the impact. They've been feeling the impact ever since. Coach Brown's a good dude. Timbo Slice says LSU colors are purple and gold, not purple and yellow. Let me see. Yeah, that was his Achilles. Yeah, that was not good. So to respond to Timbo here, the school colors may be purple and gold. However, their uniforms are yellow and purple. They just are. It's certainly not gold. North Carolina is going to be a football school in a couple of years. They may end up being a football team this year. If they can sneak up on Clemson and beat Clemson, they may run undefeated. Which team are you talking about, Artie? You said who gives a crap? You lost a lot, a hell of a lot. Are you talking about Georgia or are you talking about North Carolina, LSU? Who are you talking about? I'm so confused. Anyway, Artie says we always lose a lot and get a lot of talent. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's kind of like, well, here's what ends up happening. When you've got, I'll say Georgia, and I'm sure this is true for a few other teams in the SEC, but I'm going to say it like this. Georgia, Alabama, LSU, and Florida. Those 4 teams. Every single year, put multiple players in the NFL, and they have players that don't make the NFL, that they just move on to bigger and better things. All 4 of those teams do that every single year. I mean, what did the LSU put, 13 in the NFL this year? Alabama put, 9 or 10? I don't know how many Georgia put in. I had lost track, and I'm sure Florida put a bunch. But, I mean, it's just every year, man, reload and move on. Mac Brown's getting old. That rascal may be getting old, but he's still incredibly smart when it comes to football. UNC may beat Clemson. It's not. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's as close as Georgia versus Florida, but it's possible to end up in a situation like Georgia versus South Carolina. And if they win that game, they're going to run the table. Now, I don't think anybody is going to give UNC the clout that Clemson has. I think they'll look at that and they'll go, that's kind of a lucky game. We're still going to let Clemson in the SEC. We're still going to let Clemson in the playoffs. That may happen. Whoever wins in the SEC is obviously going, but then you've got to look at the four. You got to look ACC, SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and I'm not going to look at the Pac-12. Not going to. There's no point. Those four teams are pretty much going to be the guaranteed ends. But what happens if you have – how many did Auburn send to the league? I don't know, Q-Bearded. I have no idea. I can't remember, sir. I want to say it was 6, but I think it was 7. I'm not sure. You may have to pull it for me. Let me know. I'm trying to catch Q-Bearded. Look at that beard he's got, man. That thing is majestic. That guy could take his beard, twist it up, and braid it. And I can't do none of that with mine, man. Big dog, Mac Brown getting old like Kirby fourth quarter. You snuck that one in on me, you rascal. 4th and 11. Man, you are not beating a team that you went toe-to-toe with in Baton Rouge with Joe and company. You know, those guys can go in the swamp. Nothing can happen. But this time I'm leaning with Artie. I think Florida beats LSU. I think Florida beats LSU. 13. They may have reloaded, but you don't have that amazing offensive coordinator you had, and you don't have that legendary Heisman Trophy winner in Mr. Burrow. How many years did Lou Saban coach? I want to say it was 8 years before he won his first natty. Somebody fact check that, please. Mac Brown getting old. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm good. I don't know how many of you have seen Dr. Disrespect, but there's been so many times I've wanted to do that thing that he does where on his last stream, he was like, he picked up his phone. He's like, shit. He ran out of the room. I closed out his feed and just let people just confused. We haven't seen that guy since. I couldn't do that. Joe, that little that 90-day hiatus that YouTube forced me to take against my will definitely made me appreciate my ability to live stream. Auburn had 6 players drafted in 2020. Pretty good guess on my part then. Did Lou Dabin only learned to count during last year? Oh, you guys cracked me up, man. You guys cracked me up. Did people forget LSU still has the same offensive coordinator? I don't know. But it didn't seem to help them the year before, or the year before, or the year before, or the year before, or the year before that. What seemed to happen was that Joe Brady came in and taught Joe Burrow, who was also there the year before with the same offensive coordinator, how to play ball like a madman. They developed that guy. Unless you got that sitting there, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm not saying LSU is going to fall completely off the map. They're still going to be a very, very solid team. They're still going to go out there and win pretty much all of their games. But are they going to be as dominant as they were last year? I don't think there's any way that anybody can say that they will be that dominant. Bama had the same head coach they lost to Auburn with when they lost to Auburn. Yes. Do I think, what is my opinion, and do I think the LSU offense will, I guess you're saying offense, will be as good as it was? I don't know. Maybe. But I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. they'll be in a New Year's Six bowl, but not in the playoff. That's probably true. That's probably true. What's your opinion on empty stadiums? I hate empty stadiums, but the problem that you run into is that there's no good stance to take right now with what's going on with the pandemic. There's no good stance to take. You can't stand on one side of the fence and say we should play all the games, consequences be damned, and if something really bad happens, you're a bad guy. If you stand on the other side of the fence and you say we should absolutely not let anyone in the stands, and then nothing at all bad happens, everything returns to normal and there's no problems, and you're like, okay, well, now I look really foolish for saying that. So there's no good stance to take. Because of that, I try not to get too heavily involved in the politics. Now, if you're asking me what I would like to see, I would love for the pandemic to disappear entirely. Hey, Steve, what's going on, buddy? Hey, Spencer, welcome to the stream. Lamar, how you doing, buddy? What I would like to happen is to wake up tomorrow morning and there be on every news channel in the country and all over Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Instacart and Uber, Lyft apps and Plenty of Fish and every app you can find, the cure or prevention treatment that makes all this go away overnight. I don't realistically believe that's going to happen, but I wish it would. If it does, then I would love to be able to return to college football with fans in the stands. Without that, like I said, there's no good position to take because there's going to be people that have their opinions and they're set on them. And if you disagree with them, they're going to be very upset. And it doesn't matter which side I pick. If I pick one that says, we should go to the games and wear masks, somebody's going to have a problem with that. Let's say we shouldn't go to the games, somebody's going to have a problem with that. We should go to the games with no precautions, somebody's going to have a problem with that. So there's no solid stance to take on that. I mean, my personal opinion is my personal opinion, but as far as what is my opinion for college football sports, it's really hard for me to tell these young men what they should or shouldn't do. I'm not their parent. I'm not their coach. I don't know. What's Timbo saying up here? Miles Brennan's going to prove y'all wrong. He's been getting praises and throwing deep, accurate passes. You can't be mad at Timbo. Timbo. You can't be mad at him for loving his team, man. Can't be mad at that guy for that. I love when I get other fans of other teams on here. What's going on, Lamar? And they represent their team. They get up here and they stand up and they tell you, hey, man, you guys, my team's going to kick your behind. I'm cool with that. That's exactly what I'm gonna say. we're just alike. We just wear different colors on Saturday. So, and that's what makes this sport great. If everybody supported one team and then nobody else had any of the fans, it would be incredibly boring. But fans of other teams have taught me more about the history of UGA and other teams than I ever thought of. That I ever would have known. So we've got about 30 guys in here. I'm gonna put Michael Porter up here. If you guys see on the screen that little emblem next to Michael Porter's name, that is the that is the member emblem for a new member. If you guys want to support the channel, it's not very expensive. It's like $2 a month. It's super cheap. You guys can join the channel, support the channel. This really helps. The more members that we have, the more emoticons and all the other cool stuff that YouTube will open up to you guys that join the channel that are members. We are adding merchandise to the channel, so if you guys want to check it out, get you a coffee cup or a hoodie to throw in your car, truck, whatever. That's going to be there. We're also going to be doing some members only streams in the future. Want to make you guys aware of that. And in the members only streams, you guys will be able to ask me pretty much anything, and it'll kind of be, the gloves will kind of come off a little bit. I try to stay a little bit reserved because I don't know whose kids are watching or whatnot, and I always try to be as gentlemanly as I can be. That having been said, it's you guys that support the channel. When you guys sign up, it really, really helps the channel. I can't tell you how much it really means. We'd love to be able to get some nicer things like a better camera, maybe some better lighting, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lights that I use for this. And it's to kind of cut down on the amount of shadows you have on your face. So, yeah. See, this is the classic troll stuff I have to deal with. Bet you won't put this in the comments. Okay, so I won the bet. What do I get? You gonna sign up for the channel? You gonna be a member now? See, there's no winning for me. There's no winning for me. Timbo's like, I ain't going to stop. I'll only stop if I become unrespectful. I'm not sure what unrespectful is, but hey, I'm cool with it. Hold on. This is definitely going on the screen. Jesse says, just don't do an OnlyFans, brother. I think people would pay me not to do that. Not selling my bath water, not doing that. That's weird. Yeah, not doing it. I should put that on a t-shirt. I'm not selling my bath water. Math water. What the hell is math water? Oh, what is in this coffee, man? Oh, not selling my math water. One of the things on the channel that I have in the merchandise store, if you guys want to go check it out, is a mask that you guys can buy. And it says, you look better at 6 feet. I came up with it. I like it. I'm going to use it. So somebody's getting a little too close. Be like, hey, you look better at 6 feet. You can get smarter with math water. That's right. You like that spinning UGA helmet? My wife got that for me as a, I can't remember if it was Christmas or my birthday, but she got it for me. And man, it's certainly one of my favorite UGA things I've gotten. I know you guys can't really see this too well, but this is a picture of Sanford Stadium before it was Stanford Stadium. It used to be Yuengling Stadium, and it's actually on the thing there. You can kind of see it. These are dirt roads, right? I feel like a weather guy now, trying to grab on the map. But yeah, Mark Rick is praying for Athens as we speak. Good, we like that. So I got that on Facebook Marketplace for super cheap. If you guys look right there, that's August 7. One of my friends gave me that. That's actually a canvas painting. Over here is my big dog Brett sign that Bruce Hucks made for me. Really appreciate that guy. This right here, the big giant G with the LED lights on the top. That's something I made. There's a signed Aaron Murray mini helmet right there. I got a calendar right here behind me. This over here is my original flag that I had in tonight 11 we have Brett with the weather. Right? This is one of the original flags I had on one of my very first UGA intro videos I made. And then the other various stuff I just kind of got at yard sales and whatnot. I am not reading that out loud, Q-Bearded, you rascal, you. Spencer Cox says, be careful with that chicory. The chicory trickery. Yeah, that is a hover helmet. They're not cheap, but if you pay attention, you can catch them on sale. And if you get them on sale, they're not too bad because they do like a flash sale on Amazon every now and then. But yeah. So I hope I have more UGA stuff than you do. Freaking Bama fan. The little dog that you see right here, that one right there, that little dog actually belonged to my grandmother. And that was something of hers that I got after she passed away. So that's why it stays there. It had been on the shelf in her house for years. So that's why it's on the shelf up there. And then I've got my Thug Life glasses right here. A friend of mine gave me. I'm going to grab those for you guys. I used these in a couple of videos a few times. A friend of mine gave them to me. I just thought they were pretty cool. They're absolutely ridiculous, but they're hilarious at the same time, man. Yeah. Whew. What about that custom outline of the state of Georgia? Yeah, this right here was made by Bruce Hucks. He actually made that by hand. Like he carved it out by hand. It's hard to see, but that's actually recessed. Like he carved that out with the tool. I don't know exactly what he used or I did, but the thing's huge. I mean, it's really big. That was a terrible thing for me to do to you guys. Don't need any of that smart water. Just get you some of that math water. It's good for you. Jabril Cox and Newman. I think everybody's on pins and needles waiting on Newman, man. That guy's going to be an absolute talent. That big G right behind you, this one right here, or the one up top? The big G behind me, I made that myself. That thing is absolutely huge. Here, I'll show you how big it is. Jeremiah, I've done the green screen thing, but I like having my own setup in the back. Sell the wash rag. Are you talking about this? That's my that was a skin suit that was used by one of my actors in one of my videos. He put on the skin suit and he did a skit for me. Let me see. Q Bearded says, my granddad who passed away had a football signed by David Green and Mark Rick. If I find it, I'll let you have it. I'm sure it's just collecting dust. Wow, man, that is that's incredible, dude. I wouldn't want you to give that to me. I mean, that's something you should treasure, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're gonna throw it away, bring it on by. I think you were up in, I believe you told me the other day you were up in LJ, weren't you? No, with the bath water. I still love this name, though. Stray Dog. It's freaking awesome, man. All right, guys. Q Bearded. I'm going to put my email address right here. Q Bearded, just send me an email at that email address, and me and you can get together. Lamar Stevens. Oh, thanks for the super chat, sir. He says, are there any UF players that you'd swap a UGA player for? I would probably swap one or maybe two of our receivers for some of you guys' receivers. I want to say, I think it was Grimes that I watched last year. Travon Grimes, I think it was, when that's his name. That guy, what's up, Chiquita? I mean, he's 6'5", 214 pounds. Averaged like 14 yards a catch. He was a starter. I know that he only had like 500 yards, but the guy had incredible hands. Just a great player. I really watched liking him play. Kyle Trask at some point, yeah. But yeah, absolutely, man. That I liked Grimes a lot. I like the way he played. I like the way he looked. I think that guy's gonna end up in the NFL. But I mean, he was a 5-star wide receiver. I think he was underutilized. Really enjoyed it. Hey, what's going on, Paul? Welcome to the channel, man. For you guys who don't know, Paul is a friend of mine from years and years ago. I've probably known him for, I don't know, maybe 15 years. He is one of the fans that's been a fan of his team probably, well, I feel like as long as I've been a fan of my team, which is his whole life. Big Hawkeyes fan, absolutely diehard fan. Also a U.S. Marine veteran. So hats off to you, sir. Thank you for your service. Appreciate you joining the channel tonight. Got to end the stream so I can watch Uncle Lou. That's fine, man. That's fine. I appreciate that. So for those of you who don't know, I typically don't like to run over somebody else's stream. I don't. It's just kind of, for lack of a better term, it's just professional courtesy. For those of you who've been around a long time, I have a ton of respect for Uncle Lou. He's helped me along the way. Every time I've reached out to him, he's been right there and tried to help. So yeah. The old Devil Dog says, Simplify, brother. Thank you, and I appreciate it. No, sir, we thank you, and your bullet catching brothers. We love y'all, because if we didn't have y'all, Lord knows what we would do with some of these little excursions we get off into. Go watch Uncle Lou and be in the chat, Brett. I'll probably be in there for a few minutes. I'm going to hang out with the wife, friends, family, neighbors, cat, dog, cat, uncle, cousin, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for joining the stream. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, share the videos, join the videos, leave comments in the comment section, and don't forget to sign up to be a member. Hit the bell so that you always get notified every time I go in. And thank you guys so much for the super chat. So Mark Steven, thank you, sir, for your super chat. And earlier tonight, Michael Porter becoming the very first member of the BDB Army. Appreciate you, sir. Q-Bearded said he's gonna hit the sack. 16-hour day tomorrow. Oof. Keep doing what I'm doing. Thank you, sir. I will. Don't forget to send me an email, Q-Bearded. Michael Porter, thank you for your super chat, sir. And also thank you for the membership. I really, really appreciate it. Those of you who want to become a member, just click the member button down there. Pick out the level you want to work at. And you guys will be there, be in the channel as a member. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great day. And as always, God bless. Go Dogs.